I spent $10,200 on my parents' big night, and my name wasn't on the guest list. 78 seats. Mine was number 0. Mom said, "You're a waitress, not a guest." Later, she texted, "You can join by video if you're free." I replied, "No worries." I canceled everything. The bill vanished. The gift? Never delivered. The party ended early, but the real shock came later when they got home. "You're a waitress, not a guest." That's what my mom said when I asked about the missing name on the guest list. I didn't yell. I didn't even flinch. I just stood there, clutching the clipboard, scanning all 78 names under soft golden lights in the reception hall I paid for. Every cousin, every neighbor, the florist, even the piano player. Everyone had a seat. Everyone but me. My name was nowhere. Not even a courtesy chair in the back. But I paid for. I started. Mom waved me off like I was offering ketchup at a wine tasting. "Sweetie," she said, stepping forward and brushing invisible lint off my black dress. "You look the part. No one will even notice." Dad chimed in from behind me. "Look, we needed help. You said you wanted to contribute. I gave you $10,000, Dad," I whispered, "and $200 for the emergency flowers." "That's what I mean." He smiled. "You're already part of it." They walked away before I could finish the sentence that had been sitting in my throat since I saw the printed invitations last week, the ones they never sent me. That night was supposed to be a celebration, their 30th anniversary, a vow renewal, a fresh start. And in some twisted way, it was for them. For me, it was the first time I truly understood that blood didn't make you family, expectations did. And I had clearly failed mine. I'd flown in 3 days early, took off work, canceled a friend's engagement party. I handled the catering, the venue, the decorations. I even dealt with the tux rental fiasco when Dad forgot his measurements and barked at the poor kid behind the counter. I didn't complain once. Until the morning of the event. That's when I asked Mom where I was supposed to sit. She laughed like I'd told a joke. "Honey," she said, reapplying her lipstick in the mirror, "you'll be up and down all night. No point in wasting a seat." "A seat I paid for," I muttered. She turned slowly, eyes hard. "Don't start." That's when I realized this wasn't an oversight. It was a decision. The kind they made together. The kind where they smiled and said things like, "We're keeping it simple, and don't take it personally," while simultaneously posting about our loving family on Facebook, tagging everyone except me. Later that evening, while I stood near the cake table trying to swallow the humiliation, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. "If you're free, you can join by video. Maybe during the toast." I stared at the screen, the neon light of the venue bouncing off the glass, and typed back, "No worries." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I did something worse. I canceled everything. The bill? Vanished. My account, drained for their big night, suddenly locked. The gift I'd scheduled for delivery, a framed travel voucher to Tuscany, never arrived. And the party? It ended 2 hours early. No backup music. No wine refills. No one knew why. I watched from a side table as chairs scraped, heels clacked, and whispers floated. My mom's forced smile wilted as her perfect night unraveled. But the real shock? It came later. After they got home. They got home around 11:40 p.m. I know because I saw the motion alert on the front porch camera, the one I installed, the one they forgot to return after the anniversary. No one texted. No one called. No, thank you. No, sorry. Not even a passive-aggressive emoji in the family chat. Just silence. Until the next morning. Mom sent a message at 8:12 a.m. "Everything turned out beautiful. Couldn't have done it without you." No mention of the fact that I vanished halfway through. No mention of the gift that never arrived. No mention of the $10,200 I'd transferred to their account over the last 5 months. I didn't respond. 3 days later, my name popped up in the group chat, not by her, but by my cousin Melanie. "Didn't see me at the event? Thought you were helping." That's when my sister, Angela, jumped in. She was there, staff in trance, followed by a photo. Me, bent over behind the dessert table, adjusting candles. My back to the camera. Black dress. Hair tied. The caption. "From family to full-time help. Hashtag level up." Heart reacts. Laughing reacts. Thumbs up from Uncle Rich. I stared at the screen. My hands didn't shake. They burned. That wasn't a slip-up. That was the whole point. I was never supposed to be seen. I was supposed to blend in. Invisible labor dressed in love. The signs had been there for years. Last winter. I paid the heating bill on their house after Dad accidentally let it lapse. Summer before that. I wired Angela $3,000 for a car emergency. 3 weeks later, she posted a photo with her new golden retriever, Bruno, captioned, "Surprise investment in happiness." I covered the deposit for their beach rental. I drove 6 hours to pick up my aunt from a rehab clinic. I edited Mom's entire resume for a part-time job she never applied to. They always said the same thing afterward. "You're just better at this stuff." No thank you. No offer to repay. Just more tasks. Dad played the straight-faced tyrant. He'd bark at me over Zoom about poor life choices because I didn't marry by 30. Mom was softer. Like her words always came wrapped in kindness, with something sharp underneath. Her sentences always started sweet. "We know you're busy, but if it's not too much trouble, only you could pull this off." Angela? She didn't even pretend. Last September, she texted me urgent at 2 a.m. because she needed someone to log into her student loan portal. Her password was helpmeples420. I did it. I fixed it. She replied with a single emoji. That was my role. Tech support, financial fallback, part-time therapist, unpaid logistics manager. So when I saw my name listed as #0 in the guest spreadsheet, when I realized I had no plate, no card, no name, it wasn't an oversight. It was branding. "You always wanted the spotlight," Angela told me when I finally asked her about it. "We just gave you a job to match." That night, while they danced under string lights I paid for, I was restocking wine. My mom handed me her half-empty glass and said, "Can you swap this for the Riesling? The other one's too dry. And don't forget to smile. People are watching." I laughed. Not loudly. Just enough for her to tilt her head, confused. The next day, the florist called. Her final invoice had bounced. I checked the statement. Mom had moved half the balance to a spa weekend charge at the same resort they'd gone to last year without inviting me. I confronted her. Not even angrily. Just directly. She blinked, then said, "Well, you didn't say it was urgent." No apology. Just it felt like she was rewriting the rules mid-conversation. And still, I stayed quiet. Until the photos surfaced. The ones from Angela's Instagram. A carousel of perfect smiles, matching navy blue suits and pale peach dresses. Captioned, "A perfect night. A perfect family. So much love." Tagged, Mom, Dad, Aunt Lisa, Uncle Rich, Angela's ex-boyfriend, her yoga instructor. Not tagged, me. Not even a photo. I didn't exist. And then, cherry on top, Mom forwarded me a text the day after. "Aunt Marie says you didn't come off very friendly. Maybe next time you can bring less attitude." Then added, "You can join the next event by video if you're free." I stared at that heart emoji for 10 minutes before replying. "No worries." And that's when I started preparing the list. Not of guests. Of receipts. Financial, emotional, digital. Screenshots. Messages. Call logs. Because I was done. And when I was done collecting, I was going to show them exactly what they built, brick by brick, on my silence. The confrontation happened 1 week after the party. Not planned. Not dramatic. Just a brunch invite. Mom sent it like nothing had happened. Casual breakfast this Sunday. Just us. Let's clear the air. No mention of the missing gift. Or the $10,200. Or the public humiliation. But I said yes. Because I had something they weren't expecting. Sunday came. I arrived early. Same house. Same marble kitchen island I helped pay for. Same fake orchids on the table. Mom greeted me with her signature weaponized warmth. Look who decided to show up. Angela was already seated, scrolling through her phone like she hadn't smeared me across the family chat. Dad sat at the head of the table in his robe, reading news off his iPad like a man too important for conflict. No one asked how I'd been. No one asked why I stopped replying to texts. Instead, Mom poured mimosas and said, "Let's not make this a big deal." So I didn't. I pulled out a small, navy blue folder and placed it on the table. Angela laughed. "What is this? Your resignation?" "No," I said. "Your file." She stopped smiling. Dad lowered the iPad. Inside were 12 printed screenshots. Text messages. Bank transfers. Group chat memes. Photo timestamps. One of them? A Venmo receipt from me to Mom labeled, "Anniversary venue deposit." Another? A message from Angela to her friend. "My sister's so desperate to be loved she'll pay to be invited." That one had a heart emoji. Mom reached for the folder. I slid it back. "No, we're doing this out loud." Then I pulled out my phone. Tapped play. It was a voice memo from 2 days before the party, Angela and Mom, in the kitchen, whispering while making place cards. Angela had her phone in her pocket. and her Bluetooth was still connected to the speaker in the other room. I'd hit record. In the audio. Angela, are we really not giving her a seat? Mom, she's not a guest. She's a function. Angela, it's kind of cruel. Mom, life's cruel. She's useful when we need her. That's enough. I paused the playback. No one breathed. Angela broke first. That's out of context. I smiled. Sure. Let's get more context. I reached into my bag and pulled out a small hard drive. Silver. Labeled. Family Archive. Angela turned pale. She knew what it was. Back in college, I used to be the unofficial tech support for the whole family. I built Angela's laptop from scratch, synced it to cloud backups, set up her email filters, taught her how to hide conversations and how to forget I could see them. I mirrored her Google Drive the night after the party. She never changed the recovery email. Inside? Dozens of altered screenshots, fake threats she created to frame exes. A Photoshop document titled Drafts for Making Her Look Unstable, with my photo layered under red text that read jealous, obsessive, manipulative. Even a fake calendar invite she planned to send our cousin Marie to claim I skipped her baby shower on purpose. But the real gem? A voice file. Edited. Glitched. Her voice imitating mine using AI filters. You're nothing to me. You're lucky I let you exist. My voice. But stitched like Frankenstein. I hit play. Mom dropped her mimosa. Dad stood up. Angela lunged at the table. I pulled the drive back just in time. You think this proves something? She hissed. You've always been dramatic. I looked her straight in the eyes. You've always been safe behind lies. But now, it's your voice. Your fingerprints. Your patterns. Dad shouted. This ends now. You're tearing this family apart over some feelings? No, I said. I'm showing receipts. Then I pulled out the final piece. A printout of the wire transfer, $10,200 from my account. And the bank's fraud department note. Funds allocated to non-disclosed personal use. Review pending. Angela looked like she'd been drained of sound. Mom whispered. We can fix this. We can talk to the bank. We won't, I said, because it's not mine to fix. And then, the front door opened. Everyone turned. In walked Nathan, Angela's ex. The one she told everyone had cheated, ghosted, left her broken. He wasn't invited. I invited him. He walked in slowly, calm, a small envelope in hand. He placed it on the table and said, You told them I hit you, that I threatened your family, that I stalked you. I lost my job because of your lies. He looked at me, then back at her. But your cloud? You never logged out of mine. Inside the envelope were printed messages from her, begging him to fake an engagement, offering money to pretend they had history, threatening him when he refused. Angela turned to Mom. He's lying. You believe me, right? But Mom didn't answer. Dad sat down slowly, his hands shaking. For the first time, there was no defense, just exposure. I stood, looked around the room. From this moment on, I said clearly, I am no longer part of this family. Not legally, not emotionally, not financially. I held up a second folder, copies of account closures, revoked authorizations, name removals from joint lines. Angela started crying. Dad opened his mouth. I cut him off. You said I wasn't on the guest list? You were right. I was never invited. Just expected. Then I turned and walked out. No one followed. I didn't sleep the night after the confrontation. Not from stress. From clarity. I sat at my desk until dawn, organizing everything. Screenshots, audio clips, financial records, the edited files Angela made, each one a small brick in the wall I was about to raise. At 8:03 a.m., I clicked Post. Title. $10, 200 later, a breakdown of what family looks like when you're not one of them. It wasn't a rant. It was an archive. The breakdown. Every transfer I made for their anniversary night with bank receipts. The screenshot of Angela's meme calling me the help. Audio proof of my mom calling me a function, not a guest. The fake voice files. Photos of me carrying crates and heels timestamped. The video of my father saying, if she wants to carry trays, she should at least smile. I blurred names. Slightly. Just enough for plausible deniability, but not enough for confusion. Within 4 hours, the post hit 120,000 views. Comments exploded. Messages came in from strangers. I see you. I'm the oldest daughter too. This is not just your story. It's ours. By noon, 3 local news blogs had reached out. By 4 p.m., Angela deleted her Instagram. By 6:22 p.m., I got a message from an unfamiliar number. You're proud of this? Embarrassing your mother. It was Dad. At 6:37 p.m., Mom texted. We never meant to hurt you, but airing dirty laundry online is cruel. I raised you better. At 6:45 p.m., I replied. Just once. You raised me useful, not better. Then I blocked them both. Angela, meanwhile, tried a different strategy. She DM'd me through a burner account. Profile pic, a daisy. Username, Imus Normal Days. This is all a huge misunderstanding. You know that, right? I sent her back one file, the voice filter she used to mimic me, labeled your_nothing_mix. She never responded again. But the real moment, the one that hit like a drumbeat through my spine, came 3 days later. My email pinged. Subject, Brava Grand Award notification. 3 months earlier, I had applied on a whim to a creative impact fund for underrepresented storytellers. I'd sent in a short essay about erasure, how daughters get rewritten as support staff, how silence becomes currency in toxic households. I'd forgotten I even applied. Now they were offering me $25,000 and a platform to turn my story into a digital docuseries. Not because I was a victim, because I documented, because I'd survived and narrated it with teeth. I accepted. Then I made one more move. I bought a domain, Family Served Cold. I posted everything. Clean layout, organized receipts, watermarked documents, voice files compressed for streaming. No rage, just reality. At the top, in simple black text. You said I was the waitress, so here's the bill. Itemized. The next week was chaos. My mother posted a 7-paragraph Facebook status. We all make mistakes. Families heal, but not when someone is monetizing pain. My aunt tagged me in a forgiveness chain post. Angela created a new private profile and followed me again. Bio. Healing isn't linear #growth. I didn't respond, because while they were scrambling to edit their image, I was building something real. I launched a YouTube series, Invisible at the Table. Each episode, a story from someone like me. Oldest daughters, excluded sons, quiet siblings who got used and erased. And I didn't just talk. I paid guests, $500 each. Because telling your truth in public isn't free. It costs something. Sponsors came. Viewers stayed. In the first 2 weeks, I crossed 80,000 subscribers. Then came the kicker. My mom sent a letter. Handwritten. 2 pages. No apology. Just vague metaphors. The heart sometimes speaks in silence. You must understand, I was raised by survival, not softness. At the bottom she added, if you ever want to talk, we're here. Family is family. So I sent a package in return. Inside, a printed copy of their guest list with my name missing. A $0 invoice labeled, reimbursement declined. A USB labeled, you said I was too dramatic. This is just the raw footage. I didn't write a note. I let silence speak for me, just like they used to. But this time, I own the silence. It's been 6 weeks since the post. 4 since the website launched. 2 since my YouTube channel got verified. And 3 days since my mother tried to leave a comment under one of my videos using a fake name. She said, some people enjoy making monsters out of memories. Be careful. Victimhood is addictive. I hearted the comment. Not because I agreed. Because I wanted her to see that I recognized the tone. Even when it wore a wig and typed with gloves. I live differently now. Not better in a flashy Instagram way. Better in the no one has the keys but me way. I moved into a new apartment. Small, clean, 11th floor, no shared walls. The Wi-Fi's fast. The fridge is stocked. No one knows the address. And my phone? It has a new number. The old one, the one tied to every "can you help with rent?" and "emergency favor" text, I buried it. Literally. I printed out a copy of the family group chat from the day of the party, the memes, the laughter, the absence. I rolled it up, taped it to my SIM card, and dropped them both in a mason jar. Then I drove out to the woods, dug a hole behind an abandoned trailhead, and left it there. Grave marker. Here lies the last time I begged to be included. Angela's latest attempt was an email. Subject line, I'm ready to talk now, as equals. Attached was a Google Doc titled Shared Accountability. It included a proposal for a family discussion video. Suggested script lines like, we all made mistakes and no one was perfect. A request to avoid words like abuse, manipulation, or exile. My response? A red line edit of the doc with one sentence at the top. You can't heal a lie you're still living in. I never clicked reply. Just shared the file publicly. It now has 86,000 views. The best part? Their big vow renewal night. The one I paid for, organized, and was erased from. It never made it into the local newspaper. Why? Because I called the editor myself. Told her I was the event planner. Told her the venue had a code violation. Sent the receipt. Showed her the backup generator incident that forced the early shutdown. The article was pulled. Instead, the paper ran a feature titled, Invisible Daughters, the Cost of Being the Backup Plan in Your Own Family. I was on the cover, in black, smiling. Not because I was happy, because I was free. Yesterday, a local bookstore hosted a panel called Redrawing the Family Tree. They asked me to close the evening with one thought. I said, I'm not angry I was left off the guest list. I'm grateful, because now I know I'm not furniture to move around the table. I own the table, and not everyone gets an invitation. Mic dropped. Room stood up, and I left with nothing in my hands but my name finally mine again. On the door of my apartment, just beneath the buzzer, there's a small metal plate I had custom engraved. It says, not family, not forgiving, not available, and underneath, in smaller print, please leave all deliveries and apologies at the curb.